Hi, this is Rachel from 7 and All, and I'm going to share with you what is in my morning basket right now. Now, I always feel like I have to begin with a disclaimer that I don't actually have a basket. Morning basket is a term that everybody understands and is searchable, so I'm going with that. I keep my books on the bookshelf. But they're right here next to the table where we eat our breakfast, and I just pull out the books that we're going to read for the day, and I read to the boys during our morning time over breakfast. I'll share with you the resources that I'm using. I will try to leave links to the resources that I use down below and discount codes when I have any. So this is my current morning basket resources. I am mainly combining Sunlight T and P with some beautiful Mundo and a few other things. I will tell you how it all works together and how we are enjoying it. So I'll kind of walk you through in time order. We start by playing our hymn that we are currently learning, which our current hymn is May the Grace of Christ our Savior, and I get our hymns from our gentle and classical primer that we are working through. That's the only thing we really do from gentle and classical primer during our morning time. I save our gentle and classical primer readings typically for snack time later in the day. That's just kind of how it played out or worked best for us, but we do start with our hymn. And then we are working on memorizing El Padre Nuestro, the Lord's Prayer in Spanish. And I'm not going through the whole thing for them to memorize at this point. I should mention my sons are 4 and a half and almost 3. So this is a preschool morning basket. And we're not trying to be super overwhelming with our memory work, but it's the Lord's Prayer. It's something very special. I have these beautiful cards from Baby Believer, and we're just working on the first 2 lines of the prayer right now. Once they get that, we will move on. Maybe this will take us all year of pre-K, maybe not. I don't schedule how long memory work is going to take with preschoolers. It's not about the time, it's about learning something valuable. Then something that is new and that we are just starting, I'll see how well you can see this. This is from Hegarty's Phonemic Awareness Program for Pre-K. I didn't buy the program because it was like $90 for the printed version, and I wasn't super 100% how gung-ho I was going to be on it. I printed out the free weeks, which is like 5 free weeks of the program. We're going to give this a try, and this is just oral phonemic awareness exercises. So it's exercises where you're saying rhyming words, or you're saying a word and then the first syllable of a word, or a word and then the last syllable of the word, or you're changing a syllable in the word. This is the pre-K level. I'll link to their website so that you can also check out their free samples. I've heard good things. I thought it was worth doing for adding some Spanish and some phonemic awareness to our morning routine. We're giving this a try as well. Then the bulk of our morning time, I'm just following the Sunlight schedules for level T and level P, and also putting in our beautiful Mundo for our Spanish literature and music and poetry. So when I first decided to do Sunlight T with my little one and Sunlight P with my older son, I didn't actually envision doing them both at the same time. But then it just kind of worked out that my older son kept wanting to listen to the little one's stories. Both of these programs are just so short, light, and gentle that it's really no big deal to do them both in the same little session. So that's what we're doing. I'll show you the Sunlight, I'll show you a quick peek into the Sunlight IG later on in this video, but I'll just share with a few of the books and resources we are using right now and working through right now. And there's a lot of books in Sunlight. This is just the current ones we are reading. These are the 2 children's Bibles that they use. This is the one for T. This is the one for P. Now, I'm just typically reading 1 Bible story a day, and we're mainly reading this one because I've had this Bible for years and we've read it probably 3 or 4 times all the way through. So I'm like, hey, let's just read a different one. Same stories, just a different Bible. So that's the one thing that I don't so much double up on, is if we are scheduled to read 2 Bible stories that day, then I'll just read one of them. Then this is the Mother Goose book that is scheduled in Sunlight T, which has really, really interesting illustrations. I have interesting relationship with Mother Goose rhymes. I always hear that they're so important for teaching because the Mother Goose rhymes are such a part of, culture and literacy, literature, and they're great for building phonemic awareness with all the rhymes, with the rhythm and the sing-songness and the playing with words and sounds. But they're weird, guys. They're weird. Every time I read Mother Goose rhymes, I'm like, yep, there's some really weird rhymes in here. Because this is all the original, there's a wide selection of original classic Mother Goose rhymes. I don't mind reading them. I find them entertaining myself. I think a lot of it goes over my boys' heads, but I'm being entertained and that's a good thing. This is the main storybook that we're going through right now in Sunlight P, for the pre-K. The Lion Storyteller Bedtime Book. My mom has had this book on her shelf for years. I had never really looked at it before. I've been really impressed with just how nicely the stories are written, how well they are written. Most of them are at 2-page spreads, just a few pictures, a good amount of words that you're going through. I wasn't sure if this might be too much on the words and too little on the pictures for my older son, but he's very engaged. This is a well-written book. These are mainly folk tales, they're kind of like folk tales from around the world. And they're I'm a little judgy about writing. I have found this to be very interestingly written, just engaging, not overly wordy. They use very vivid words to tell the story. They're fun to read aloud. Even my husband hates fiction, and he's been listening in on this because he's still home sometimes when we're doing our story time, and he's like, wow, I really like that book. So we're enjoying this quite a bit from Sunlight. This is the Bernstein Bears Big Book of Science and Nature. This is so fun. My boys love it. My mom loved this back when she used it many years ago. The first copy my family had got totally broken and fallen apart, so this is actually a brand new copy of a book that we had. So second time purchasing. This is fun, just an overview, kind of like seasons, basic science, how the world works. And then this is the main storybook we're going through for Sunlight T, which has very, very classic toddler tales. Some of these are even in board book form. Goodnight Moon, Harold and the Purple Crayon, Pizza, that's hilarious. If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, Crichter, we read that one today. What I like about this treasury is that it actually has full page pictures. It doesn't try to squish a bunch of pictures onto one page, so that makes it really big, but this is one of my favorite treasuries I've seen because of that. So those are kind of the main books we've been reading for our Sunlight part of our morning basket. So we typically do those first, and we'll wrap it up with our Beautiful Mundo schoolwork, which Beautiful Mundo has us reading one picture book a week, and I will repeat the picture book a couple times in the week, depending on how long it is. So a longer one, maybe I won't repeat as often. This one's a very short one, so we'll probably read it at least 3 times. It's also hilarious. It's about a parrot that's stealing fruit from all the other animals, and my boys are just like, it's a very emotional story. They're like, he's stealing all the fruit. So this book is in Spanish. We'll read that a few times. We're supposed to be working on colors. A lot of colors are featured in the story. So then I can talk about colors with my boys. There's also a poem that we read, maybe 1 to 3 poems we read in a week from this, and those are scheduled in Beautiful Mundo as well. Then at the end of our morning time, as they've finished up their lunch or their breakfast, and they do take kind of a long time to eat because they're engaged in the story, so they take a little bit longer to eat because of that. But as they've wrapped up kind of their eating, we're usually wrapping up our stories, and then we end with songs. And our songs mainly come from Beautiful Mundo, so we're singing some Spanish songs by Jose Luis Orozco or other Spanish artists. We get up from the table, we dance around, sing our songs, and sometimes Sunlight does schedule a song as well. That's not a daily thing, but if they have a song scheduled, then I'll play that too. Like He's Got the Whole World in His Hands, or My God is So Big, or whatever little song it is. We'll go ahead and sing that too. So we end with songs, kind of get all active after eating, and then I send them off to play. And that is our morning basket routine. I'll give you a quick look right now into the Sunlight IG so you can just kind of see how much we're reading and how not overwhelming it is. So this is just a quick look inside the Sunlight IG for level P. So you can see what you do in a day. You just have this, So, for example, on the first day, we're just introducing our memory verse for the week. We read one story from the Lion Storyteller bedtime book. We read a page, 2 pages from Dr. Seuss's ABC. And we read Bernstein Bear's science book and my first Spanish words book. There are a few things in the Sunlight schedule that are not read-alouds, such as we're doing an activity with our triangle geometric shapes frame. We're doing a numbers activity. We're doing something with the letter B. And we also have developing the early learner. These types of activities I don't do during the morning time. I just wait till later. And I do include them. I think they're great activities, but I include them during our table time. So we're just reading these few simple activities. Sometimes they have an extra book, like we're reading a poem from Eric Carle's Animals, Animals, and that's typically just 1 page. So I can get it to focus there. So really short and simple, short and sweet. This is pre-K after all. This is the preschool. Preschool's only 3 days a week. We have our Bible stories. All of these activities right here are something that I've got a little box where I'll have the letter, the shape, and the number of the week with a couple different manipulatives in it. I'll get our box down on the floor and I'll talk with him or play with him with those during the day, but that does not happen during morning time. We do read the storybook, the picture book, the Mother Goose Bible, and might sing our song at the end, but that's just what we do during the morning time. You'll notice that this is 3 days a week and the other one is 4 days a week. We do our morning time 5 days a week. So we just do things throughout the week. Usually by Friday, we might be running out of things to read, and that's when, okay, maybe I'll read a Bible story we didn't get to because of the Bible stories being doubled up, or maybe I'll bring in one of our gentle and classical readings that we haven't gotten to. Basically, Friday is whatever maybe didn't get read, or if there was a particular book or story the boys really liked, we're going to read it again. I have no problems with reading something a couple times during the week. And that is our morning basket, morning time routine right now. All right, I'll be seeing you. Bye.